Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Business Times Budget Roundtable 2014. It's a pleasure to have you here. Before we get into specifics, I just thought perhaps each of you could just give 1 or 2 minute account of what you think the budget should be about. So maybe we can start with you, Vishnu.
What the budget should be about, for Singapore's case, quite happily, it's not about balancing it. Singapore runs one of the strongest surplus year after year. So I think what the budget really ought to be about this year is to get, to at least establish and underscore the fact that this productivity goal thing is a long run goal, and so approach it in that appropriate sense. And at the same time, I think quite correctly, already a lot of steps are being taken to ensure that there's an inclusiveness portion to this budget. And I think that is being driven by things like the progressive wage models and things like that. So this budget, in my view, is about connecting the dots. We already have the dots: a good surplus, the goal to get productivity, the goal to raise wages. So we go back to kindergarten where we connect the dots and we get a nice picture. So that's what the budget ought to be about.
Thanks. Yeah. Hong Beng, what do you think the budget should be about?
Well, personally, I feel that it should be an inclusive and sustainable budget. That's to say that not only looking at how we can grow the economy, but also to help Singapore business to actually go forward.
Right.
Okay, productivity is still a major concern here, but of course, I mean, if you look at recent times, as far as productivity is concerned, people has come to a grip with, understand that that's important. But I think something that we have to understand that we have to look beyond productivity. Okay. Rather than just looking at the input, right, we have to look at the output.
Yes.
And that is where we have to look into things like innovation, and hopefully the government come up with certain measures and incentives that can promote that level of activities,
right,
because those are the activities that can bring us forward and go into the international market.
Some of the senior government officials are already starting to recognize that we may be a little bit late, but right now we are off the starting block in terms of recognizing that the grey hair population in Singapore is going to be increasing pretty quickly.
Yes.
And so I am hoping that in this budget, other than the recognizing our pioneers that has been talked about for the last 2 weeks, we actually start to recognize that we need more than just dollars and cents to be given away to our older folks, and even more so our poorer cousins. Like, instead of just making a master plan for housing, for the economy, what about old age care? And just stamps and coupons and subsidies and rebates wouldn't
We need
do.
to go beyond that.
Yes.
So the budget should be about.
I think the budget should be about the people, how the government looks after our older people, and also about the education for our young people. The budget should also be about businesses, how to help businesses manage their costs, how to help them improve in terms of what productivity has been taught a lot about, but it's still something that is necessary for businesses. I think more important of all is how we can refine our tax system and also simplify it to make it less cumbersome from a compliance standpoint for our businesses.
The idea of getting things moving quicker is very important, I think.
What things?
The way we run our businesses. I think we heard a couple of comments here just a minute ago about getting more things going, getting more companies to look at bigger regions.
Right.
Those are very important. But what we really need to do to move forward is to get out of here and do a lot more work there, and then bring the product back into the marketplace.
From a small business perspective, what do you think the budget should be about?
Well, from a small business perspective, really a lot of businesses in Singapore have been experiencing increase in business costs from a labor and from a rent perspective. They're also experiencing a lot of volatility in their ability to retain, and not just to hire, but also to retain the workforce. So I think a lot of businesses are in the transition phase. We see 2014 to be a possible year whereby businesses are going to see consolidation symptoms that will happen. Some will sell, some will close, some will merge, some will, and so we hope that the budget would help businesses through this transition period and help them to expand overseas, help them to be able to retain
employees better, attract and retain employees better, and we see that 1/4 is going to continue to be challenging for businesses. So we think that some of the measures that are already on stream now, it's important that they continue to push forth. Businesses are calling for PIC extension, helping SMEs expand overseas. Some of the measures, these are some of the measures to help them, whether you call it improve productivity or improve their margins, give them a broader base to spread their costs and get better economies of scale. Because we have a small market, and if we do not address the problem, the structural transition issues in the ecosystem right now, you might see our locally owned business spaces over the next few years becoming acquired by overseas players.